some people are so needy and lean towards you. And that's what I want to talk about today. So many people like to rely on me for a lot of things. And I don't know, I was standing back and I reevaluated this from my own perspective. And I see so many people lost in the world right now. And it's like they cannot carry their own weight. They can't do things alone. They always have to have somebody or some kind of reassurance. And to me, this is like a lack in faith. Is a lack in faith for them. Because if they were to reach within, I don't feel like they would be reaching outward to somebody that's external, And a lot of these people become really draining individuals. They will drain you, and I don't think that they actually do it on purpose. They're conditioned to this deception, and they really have to be taught, but it gets into a situation where you can't really teach them if they aren't teachable or if they don't care to learn. And so I've realized that in time, I've realized that you have to really just let go of these people, and it's so hard. It could be loved ones, it could be family members, it could be somebody that has once helped you so much in life, and then you've outgrown them, and now you have to keep moving forward, and they stay where they're at. And there is a lot of people that doesn't progress like they should. And I can look back to friends that I used to associate with, and I can still find them in the same location, in the same town, in the same spot, doing the same thing. And I could see the change in me, and I feel like it's almost like a dimension change. I feel like I've realm jumped in a sense, because I'm not there anymore whatsoever, not even close to that mindset. I'm not close to living those actions. And I can look at it from a higher point of view, almost looking back at myself, or looking, I don't want to say looking down, but that's the word that keeps coming into my mind, because it's like looking down on where you were. And all you could really do is pray for those people. You can't make them change. You can't make them grow. You can give them words of wisdom, words of advice, but at the end of the day, what's ever within inside of them, what's ever keeping them where they're at, that's what has to be released, and it takes them to do that, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to leave people behind, and that's what I'm seeing so much in my reality, is having to leave people behind. And I get guilt trips for it a lot. People will say I haven't seen you forever, let's hang out, or why don't you want to talk, or because talking is not something that interests me. Talking about drama doesn't interest me. It's just such a big difference from where I've came from and where I'm at now, and it's continually going to upgrade. I feel like I'm in an upgrade right now. So I guess what I'm saying is, as hard as it is, when you start to outgrow people, when you start to outgrow your friends, you have to realize this is for you to excel. Not all of them people are going to be with you in the end. When you die, it's you and God. And He's going to say, why did you stay in the same place? We're not born or meant to stay in the same place. We are supposed to move forward in progression. We're supposed to learn, and we're supposed to experience through learning lessons in life. And you just cannot stay still. It's a waste of life. You don't want to die and have no accomplishments or nothing done, because what are you going to tell God? The whole time you were here, you were feeling sorry for yourself, that you couldn't go anywhere because of everything that was stuck in your mind? That's not okay with Him, And so I just want to talk about letting go of those who are holding us back. So I've noticed that each time I take a leap forward, and things are going my way, and things are starting to go really good for me, something will pop up and try to distract me, rather that be a person or a situation. And that's just the devil. And, it's going to happen. So you really have to figure out how to weed out the people that is no longer serving you. And I'm not saying that you have to never talk to them or treat them badly. We all are in the same situation. We've all been there. We all, understand, and that's how we grow. We can pray for the person and hope that they come to realization, or we could try to offer the person advice, but ultimately we have to separate ourselves from anything that's lowering our vibration, and people will do that, rather it be, like I said, family or friends. So it is super important to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people with like mindsets, with like interests, and I can guarantee you that it's not going to be the same people that you've always had around, because you've not always had the same mindsets and the same ideas and the same liking. You're growing, and as you grow, you will find that a lot of people are going to be left behind. With that being said, I have been experiencing that myself, and a lot of speakers and even preachers will tell you that none of us are free from the world. I could come on these videos and tell you everything I feel like you should know, but everything that I speak is a learning experience for me, and you would have to really get into my flow and start speaking and teaching in order to understand what I'm talking about. Everything that I put out there is something that I'm currently going through, and it's something that I currently had to work through, and that's what brings these videos, because I'm working through it, and I've developed techniques and ways to get through things, and I realize now what's going on when before I might not have realized it. And so I just want to tell you, don't let nobody stop you. I feel like through God, I've manifested a lot in the past year, and it's been amazing. And it's been since before when I started these videos, I didn't have what I have now. And it's been like maybe a short year, maybe a year and a half at the most. I am growing and doing so by really channeling my thoughts, and I realize that the past is no longer here. It's not serving me any purpose. It's time to let the past go. Now, in the present, a lot of the times the past creeps up, and I have that happen, and it's like, man, like, just go. Like, and you really have to. I'm not talking about mental thoughts of the past. I'm talking about certain people pop up from the past, and just when you get past that and get it out of your memory, here they are knocking at your door. And forgiveness is important. Forgiveness sets you free. I don't care what somebody's done to you, you forgive them. That makes you okay within yourself with it, but you still don't have to associate with that person or trust that person. You wish them well, and you move forward without them in your life. And if you're having a trying time with removing a particular person, you have to reach in within you and pray, and that just means that it's time for change. Like, when I was with my ex, I had a astral out-of-body experience, and I was told by an angelic being, it looked like an angel to me. He told me that if I stayed, I would die. And at the time, I thought that was literal. I would die. Well, now, it's been about 6 or 7 years later, I understand that, I would have died. I would have died spiritually. I wouldn't have what I have now if I would have felt like I needed that person. I finally had to do what's right within me, because I was being the one that was paying for that, and it was just like, I wasn't happy, but I felt scared to leave. Like, those feelings are not of God. Scared, fear, anything negative is not of God. And you really have to just work through those feelings to get past it. And then you find, nothing's easy. But you find after you went through the whole experience and you're looking back on yourself, you're like, wow, if I would have stayed, I would be dead. If I wasn't dead from drugs or domestic violence, I'd be dead spiritually, because I would not know what I know now. I would have not grown the way I grow now. I wouldn't have the mind capacity to understand wisdom. I wouldn't have God like I do now. I've always been close to God, but to be able to sit down and read that Bible, I would have been made fun of for reading the Bible. It's just, it's something that you really have to work through yourself, and it's important to weed these people out. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I didn't believe for a long time, and I could see things, and I could do astral traveling. I soul travel. My soul leaves the body. I could see myself laying in bed, so I know what I see. And what I'm trying to tell you is I had a preacher lady, and it's a long story. I'm not going to get into all that, but she came from California, and she was a complete stranger. She ended up at a friend's house and in my path, you know. And I told her, well, as soon as I walked in, she said, "Can I pray for you?" And I was in a hurry. I had a business that I owned, and I had a customer waiting on me to pick up some furniture items from my shop, and I was like, "Pray for me." And to me, I thought, whatever, like, I don't feel like I need prayed for. I have a close, like, relationship with God. However, I let her pray for me, and she just kept saying, whew. It was a black woman, very spiritual, and she owned a church in California, and she just kept saying, "Shoo, girl." And so when she started praying, she was praying in tongues, but it went into, she kept saying, like, you know, "Spirit of addiction, leave. Spirit of Jezebel, leave." And I heard her say this stuff, but at the whole time I was thinking, this lady is crazy, thinking I have spirits in me. Like, I just, you know, and I believe in God and I believe in her, yet there was some things that I was just like, wow, okay. The tongues thing, when she started praying in tongues, I felt like I could understand some of it, though. And I seen her in the presence of God, and I heard God say, "She is not the enemy." And so when I seen that, you know, in my vision as she's praying for me, and my, you know, my eyes are closed, and I know God, and I know heavens, and I know angels, and I was in the presence of her, myself, God, and angels, and I knew she was sent from God. And that was awesome, actually. At the end of she ended up staying. Okay, I ended up canceling the meeting with my customer, and I ended up staying. She stayed with me. That was probably around 7 p.m. She stayed until 3 o'clock in the morning praying for me. And she was like, you know, "I've been called to this midnight hour, and God sent me here, you know, and now I know why." She came from California to Indiana because God told her to come. And she just randomly came, and it's just it's a really touching story. But when she was praying, I felt things leave me. And a matter of fact, my eye hurt so bad, and I thought it was from straining and crying, but my left eye felt like it was ruptured. But I felt things leave me. And the whole time she's praying, you know, I'm not gonna say that I believed the way that she was. I guess what I'm saying is, when she was saying remove all these spirits from me, I felt things leaving me, but I thought they were just emotions. I thought they were emotional, you know, bondage, things that I had within me that she was relieving for me. And I didn't really understand that they were actually spirits. And when I left, I still didn't believe that I had spirits in me. That just didn't make no sense. I soul travel, and I've never seen anybody have spirits in them. That'd be like exorcism stuff to me, you know, just at that point in time in my mind frame. That's what I was thinking. Well, she was telling me that there's some things, you know, obviously, that I didn't like to hear. She told me that my astral travels were a curse. They were sent to me from the haunted house that I lived in through many generational curses. I do know that the astral travel experience was hell, especially when I was little, and it was a long time to find God through it. It's not like that I just astral traveled and seen Jesus. It took many years and faith, and I prayed for them to go away, and they didn't. So it's been, you know, a gift is also a curse. So when I'm on here speaking about these gifts, you know, I wouldn't wish them on people, because to see what I see is very scary. It's very dangerous. And she told me that I was going to get lost out there, is what she told me. She said that the enemy was trying to get me lost. And the fact that she called it the enemy right when I just recently heard God, you know, I seen a vision and I seen God, and he said she is not the enemy, followed by her saying the enemy is trying to get me lost out there. I kind of related to that. I woke up in many different time frames, many different realms, many different dimensions and experiences. I woke up, I've seen so much, okay? And sometimes when you wake up somewhere else, you are that person. I can look down and see myself. I can look in the mirror and see my reflection. And it's a different time that I don't remember in this life. I don't remember until I'm out there experiencing it, and it makes me forget about this life. And there's times where I completely forget about this life. I forget about coming back to the body. And so she nailed that. She nailed that, because, you know, it's like when you're born here and you're stripped of memory, sometimes I'll wake up there even 25 years old or 30 years old, walking in a body that's mine, in a situation with people that I know, but I don't know them from here. It's from there. It's so very complicated, and it's scary, and it's not a lucid dream. It's real. What I'm seeing is real time, and that's how I know time doesn't exist, because it's like looking at your computer. You know, you have a click of the mouse. Pretend you have like 20 frames in front of your face. Okay, this is a video from 2020. This is a video from 2019. Pretend you have that right in your face, and it's on your home screen. You can click on any one of those, and you can watch that video, right? That's how it is when you pass away, or when you're in this realm between under heaven and here. That's how it is. You can access these by the click of a mouse, is what I'm saying. I can access these times, and if I wake up in that time, then I forget about this time. And you know, by the grace of God, I've been able to come back every time. But when she nailed that right there, because there's many a times that I don't know what happens to me here. That's another thing. Like, we're talking about time. If I wake up in a different time frame, or I could wake up in a future event, I could wake up in a past event, and I could wake up in an event that didn't even take place in this lifetime. And so when you're talking about that, it's like, I don't know, I just drew a mind blank of where I was going with that. But you really, it's time doesn't exist to the point where it's all just laid out in front of you, okay? And I know that I totally just drew a mind blank. I just know that, we're talking about the spirits, okay? So I know that what else she told me was that spirits get into bodies, and they cause you to have certain reactions or act a certain way, and it blinds you from the truth or who you are. And so I listened to that again, didn't really do anything, didn't take it to heart, didn't study on it, nothing. She told me to listen to gospel in my house, and it would keep the spirits away, or it would keep them at bay, and it would actually close doors to generational curses and things like that. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. I listen to gospel a lot at nighttime when I'm sleeping, so I know that demonic type spirits, or just ill-willed spirits, are not any kind of negative spirits, don't like gospel music, okay? They don't like the word of God, and they don't like gospel music. So when I play it, she was correct about that. My house is more clear, my kids were more happy, things were more peaceful, I had more wisdom. One night I fell asleep on the floor, okay? And my kids were watching a movie with me, but they fell asleep, so I turned on gospel, because I kept having out-of-body experiences that night. I turned on gospel, and when I fell asleep, I had woke up in a paralyzed state. Sleep paralysis happens right before you go into a soul travel. Not every time, but it's connected. And so I had the gospel on, and I'm laying there paralyzed, and I could only see what my eyes were fixed on, which was the TV screen in front of me. And what I'm telling you is very important. I was paralyzed, but yet I knew that somebody I was with at the time was on the couch behind me. So I couldn't see the person. I was looking at the TV, and the person was behind me on the couch, and they were looking through my phone, and I knew that my phone was being looked through. And what had happened was gospel changed on the TV to my phone screen, and I could see all the text messages being read on my phone. And I was so mad. I was just so really pissed off mad. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you looking in my phone? And I was paralyzed, so I couldn't do anything. And the more pissed off I got, the harder it was to wake myself up from sleep paralysis. And then I laid there for a second. I thought a minute, and I was like, wait a second. I don't even have nothing to hide in that phone. And it took me a minute to think of that. And I was like, I haven't done anything wrong. Like, there is nothing in that phone that I'm hiding, because I am not hiding anything within myself. And that calmed me down when I realized that. And as soon as that happened, as soon as my anger went away, I had something climb out of me. Like, I'm laying there flat, and the spirit came out of me, and it was a young male spirit, and he had swords, which I have a sword of God myself, and so I wasn't scared of his swords. But I'm just saying, when he came out of me, it's like, what the hell? Like, I just was in shock. I seen this thing come out of me, and the first thing I did was, as soon as that thing lifted out of me, I was free. I was able to move. And so it was like, almost like the spirit thing is what caused the sleep paralysis. And as soon as it came out of me, I freed, my soul freed, not my human or material body, but my soul freed out of that body. And I stood with him, and I was staring at him face to face, and I drew my sword on him. And I was prepared to swing that sword, and it will kill a soul. Those swords, there's spiritual weapons, and there seriously is. And it would, my sword of God would have killed him. And you don't swing it, you don't swing it unless you're under attack. This man wasn't attacking me. He stood there, and he was very smart, and very, very smart not to make a move. And he just stood there and stared at me. And I told him, if you ever come back here again, ever, I will kill you. And I meant that. And I know this sounds crazy, but the truth is the truth, and this is truth. And so he vanished. He just disappeared in my living room. There was no need to, he didn't draw no sword or anything. But I meant what I said. If I seen him, I would kill him. And that sounds horrible, but you know what? That thing was giving me, whatever it was making its thoughts project onto mine. It was making me get that anger within me, and I allowed it to. For a split second, I allowed it to make me angry, and that's why it all happened the way it did. When I was like not angry, and I realized, wait a second, there's nothing within me to hide. That thing had no hold on me no more, and it left. And so what that lady said from California is very true. You do have spiritual attachments to you, and I see that within so many people. And now that I know that firsthand, I can see that in people, and I realize this is a spiritual attachment. And so when you get people around you that's not coinciding with you, and who is bringing you down or bringing you things that are not of God, they have spiritual attachments. Those spiritual attachments can get into your space. Let somebody like that live with you, and you're going to get their demons. And you get their bad luck. You get their mindsets. You get what they got. And the Bible says a bird that flocks together will get caught in the same net. And that's because the net of destruction comes with the people you are around. And so that was a powerful learning experience for me. And I know that you guys might not be able to understand the way I did, because I had to experience it. And that's the difference in my gift, and somebody without a gift, is that I actually experience all these situations firsthand. And so when I'm speaking on it, I know the truth, and I know what I experienced, and I know what's out there. And I'm not going to lead you astray on that. And I say it with 100% truth in me, and I want you guys to know that is truth. And I just hope that it helps. Maybe if it just helps one or two people, that you guys hear me, because it says so many times in the Bible similar things, and I think that's why it's trying to tell us. Everybody can tell you what's wrong or what's going on in a different perspective, and I'm telling you in this perspective. But the Bible talks about the birds that flock together. It talks about don't eat at another man's house. If somebody comes asking you for something, let them eat with you and send them on their way. This is why He don't want us to. God wants us to love everybody. I'm not saying don't love these people. I'm saying that you have to separate yourself from them. And by doing so, you grow so much. And it's needed. It's needed for spiritual advancement. And we are, I feel like, nearing an awakening moment of time. And we all have to advance spiritually. And we have to really clear out all the clutter in order to progress and expand in consciousness, in mind, body, and soul, and in Jesus. And Jesus Christ is my Savior. And even if your religion is different from mine, it's still, Buddhism and Hinduism and all these, it's still speaking of these same principles, and principles of mind clarity, of advancement, of spiritual advancement. It's all the same concept. And I'm out of time, and I just wanted to bring that to you guys, and hope that it helps somewhat. And I will obviously for sure be back on with some more stuff, still growing and expanding. Big things are coming for me, and I can't wait till you guys see the transformation from where I'm at now to where I'm still going to go. It's going to be mind-blowing. And yeah, thanks for watching.